Anemone is the return of Daniel Day-Lewis as an actor. He is retired since the film Phantom Thread, but has come forward to do this movie with his son, Ronan Day-Lewis. He plays a man with a tortured past named Ryan, who exiled himself after an incident with the IRA, and he has been living alone. So his brother, Jem, shows up with a bit of a crisis because Ryan's son is acting out and is on a bad path, and he needs structure because he never met his father, doesn't know his father. Other kids make fun of him for this, and he's got a lot of angst, and the mom's there too. And of course, this is like a really kind of like a low budget, kind of artsy movie, but you have to remember under the lens that this is the first time for certain directors. This is Ronan's debut film, so he's still got a lot to learn. And then I don't know if Daniel Day-Lewis is a big writer, but he co-wrote this movie with his son, so it might be his first writing gig. The result is a pretty pretentious project. You can't really even describe it as a passion project because, you know, I don't. This is a story that Daniel Day-Lewis has been wanting to do forever, and just finally came out of retirement to do, or it's just a nepotism, pretentious movie, and I kind of feel like it is. Ryan and Jem basically are in the woods arguing a lot. We don't find out about the incident for an hour and a half. The movie's a full 2 hours. I was fighting consciousness, to be honest. They do cut to the mom and Brian, but since they never cross over, it feels really disconnected. And I think even worse, the direction's really pretentious because Ronan doesn't really have a style of his own. For example, he'll have lots of sweeping cinematography shots, and then he'll just cut into like a cinema verite motorcycle shot for no reason. And in the last 30 minutes, they try to introduce some fantastical elements, like really on the nose dream sequences or metaphors, you know, like even worse, you know, it's like when someone's about to argue with someone and then it starts to rain outside because the rain is a representation of the storm going on inside the house. It's like that, but on steroids. So I don't know what was up with the last 30 minutes that they were trying to really push in the whole conflict, but I feel like this movie could have easily just been a way better, shorter drama film just focusing on the two men in the woods instead of the son, and maybe just have less of that because they didn't really add much to the narrative, because it is the journey, not the destination. The movie sort of ends with a decision instead of seeing the aftermath and the fallout and the reconnection. It's mostly just a man deciding if he wants to go back to rejoin civilization or not. And the movie starts off pretty strong. There's like this scroll that kind of gives you this little inkling of what happened to the main character, but the movie just spends way too long just hiding out in the woods. And you know, I really mainly just watched this movie not for the narrative but for the acting by Daniel Day-Lewis, and he does a good job, but everyone else doesn't really get to do much. You know, Sean Bean's just sort of there. Samantha Morton's the mom, but she doesn't get anyone to work off of except for the son. I thought the son was a pretty bad actor, but overall the collective project is just all right. I mean, Daniel Day-Lewis kind of carries the whole thing, but it's way too long and pretentious, full of weird imagery at the end, and just kind of feels like a hodgepodge of cliches and stuff like that. You know, they'll just occasionally have a really beautiful shot of nature and stuff, just in between the talking scenes. So overall, I give Anemone a 3 out of 10.